So in this introduction episode, I'm going to show you the Keepsake box that I've been making, and I'll explain what the series is going to include, because I'm going to break it down into lots of episodes, with each episode being a different part of the box construction. And for those of you that haven't watched any of my videos before, I focus on low-cost hand tools and power tools, and I focus on inexpensive materials and scrap wood. So this should be achievable for most people that have basic woodworking skills and tools. And clearly the design on this box is an acorn, and that's because it's a gift for somebody, and the acorn symbol has a specific meaning to the person I'm giving it to. But you can choose your own design. I'll explain in the series how you can modify this to something you'd like to undertake. Now, as I said, I'm not using expensive materials here, so I have lots of small, thin strips of sapele, which were relatively low cost to buy as they're offcuts. And I will be gluing these up to produce panels, and I'll show that process in an episode, because gluing up strips is cheaper, in my opinion, than buying a planer and a table saw in order to produce your own material. Obviously, it depends on the quantity of work you're doing, but in my situation, that's the approach I take. And I'll also go into how I've produced the lid. In this case, it's beech that's being glued together from similar strips. Again, low-cost material, offcuts, and I'll show that process in some detail. And there are often many ways of achieving things in woodworking. In this case, I'm using a router that I recently purchased, but in the past I may have done this same process with hand tools. I'll also explain how I made the acorn, how I carved the shape out, and the timber choices I used for it. I will also go into the process of how I produced the frame and panel lid for this box. And I'll also include how I carved an integrated handle into the frame and panel lid. And remember, all of this is done with very inexpensive tools and only a few years' experience woodworking. And then we'll go into the box construction, where I will use dovetail joints to produce the box. I'll explain options about how to produce a base for the box and show some veneering techniques. We'll go through the process of the glue up and the best way to try and ensure the box is square. I will show you the process I take for finishing this box. And I'm going to show you a technique I've developed for hinging this box. I don't know if it's something I've come up with myself, but I certainly haven't seen anybody else use this process. So if you're interested in following me along making this box and seeing if it can be adapted into something you'd like to make, then please subscribe and make sure you click the notifications so that you see the upcoming episodes of this series.